Hey guys, we're going to be going through the IUL application using National Life Group. And this is the homepage after you log in to your agent portal. Just going to go right here to tools. We're going to click illustrations because it's really important you guys know how to run an illustration for your clients. And that's obviously what's really going to help you, um, sell them on this idea, this concept, if it's the right situation for your client. We just went here to the left. We clicked new illustration, obviously, for a new client. We're going to go to Flex Life NL, click Flex Life NL, and this is loading here. Obviously, guys, make sure that you have the right issue state wherever you're issuing them. I'm in Texas. A lot of clients and people that I represent are in Texas. Got to have their first, last name, date, all that good stuff, gender. So make sure that's all right. We're just going to do value client because this is obviously an example. The average age, I would say that, you'd write an IUL for somebody probably is around the age 45. A lot of times it'll be younger or even a child IUL. If the client really likes the product, they probably would want to get that for their children, especially because the cost of insurance is so low. Typically, you won't have a whole lot of clients where it makes sense for them to do kind of a max, max cash value, minimum death benefit type of IUL. For them to be much older depends on the runway that they have for premiums and how much they want to fund it. But each client is different, so just understand your client going into this situation and every situation for that matter. Rate class. Standard non-tobacco is pretty standard. Understand if your client uses tobacco or not, what kind of health situation they're in, because the last thing you want to do is run, preferred or elite non-tobacco or preferred non-tobacco, and then them kind of be express standard or standard, because that's obviously going to change the way the numbers work. It's going to change how much of insurance and their cost of insurance that they'll be able to apply for. So make sure this information's all right. The personal information isn't too tough, and you guys will certainly do your due diligence to make sure everything's correct. So we're going to the left. Underneath client information, we're going to go to death benefit and funding. Guys, you want to make sure that this says GPT, guideline premium test. Very important. And yes, we want MEC avoidance. So make sure, to avoid having a modified endowment contract. That's a bad taxable situation for your client. They don't want to be in that situation. And if they get in trouble, then guess what? You're going to get in trouble. So make sure you click yes. We want to avoid having a MEC and just adjust the face amount. Now we're going down to face amount. We want to do minimum death benefit, max cash value. And that's what really this IUL is fantastic for, is building that cash value, or maybe it's balanced. If you want something more protection focused or your client wants something more protection focused, I think the IUL is super easy, super quick. They'll still have a little bit of cash value, but more than anything, it's going to enhance that death benefit. So understand your client, understand their goals. That way you can set this up correctly. But most people want the IULs for the cash value benefit. So make sure, whenever you're building this out, that one, it's based off the client needs, but more often than not, it's probably going to be minimum death benefit, max cash value. So now that we have that, we're going to go to death benefit option. Again, guys, if this is protection focused, you can leave it at A, which is just level death benefit. That way they have the protection day one that they need to make sure they can leave that to their family. But for the minimum death benefit cash value, we want to go increasing. So that's going to start their death benefit super low so that they can just maximize the amount of dollars that they're paying premiums to go into that cash value, and their death benefit will increase over time. Most clients are going to choose monthly. You might have some clients choose premium mode of annual, but most of them are going to be monthly, because when you guys are doing your due diligence, when you're meeting with your clients, you're going to say, hey, here's the deal, how much can you afford, on a monthly basis to set aside for this goal of funding this IUL policy. So we want to make sure that that's monthly. And then whenever you come down here, obviously we're not doing protection focus. We're not doing retirement focus. We're just trying to build cash value. Maybe they want to buy investments. Maybe they do want to take retirement withdrawals, but we're going to leave that up to them, whenever they are able to get to that age and see what their cash value looks like. So for premium amount type, we're going to go to specify amount. So it's very flexible and, depending on their client, how much they can afford on a month-to-month basis. I would say the average amount that the client will want to do is $500 a month. Could be far more for sure. You'll see a lot of people want to fund a lot more into this after you ran some illustrations for them. But you could see some that are even less than $500 a month. If they want to do like $100 a month, guys, maybe, funding a cash value life insurance policy may not be the best idea. Maybe, they get the IUL, the protection focused. But if they're doing $1,200 a year, I don't know if that cash value is going to really benefit them in the long run unless they're paying premiums for a very long time. So just kind of depends on the client, depends on their goals, but always make sure that you understand that. So we're going to pay from and through from age 45. Make sure you write A45 for age 45 dash A65. So this just says, hey, they're going to make their premiums from age 45 to age 65. Obviously, everything depends on the client. If they're younger, put that younger age. But typically, people don't want to pay for life insurance past retirement. And if they've already built up that cash value, they really won't have to do that. So these are the main points that you want to have whenever you run an illustration. Make sure that you have the tax and compliance right, the death benefit, and the premium amount. If they are moving money, you can do 1035 exchange, all that good stuff. And then distribution amount. I don't do a distribution amount unless the client specifically says they want to take a certain amount of distributions from, this cash value account. But typically I just say, hey, let's build up the cash value. At age 65, let's just see how much you have to begin with and kind of go from there. And typically that's what they'll want to do. So now that you have all that information in there, that's all good. That's all right. We'll go right here to the left again, go to quick view. And this is what you're going to really want to show your client just because it's so simply illustrated. Initial face amount right here, $102,000 initially. So if they pass away tomorrow, they're going to get $102,000, or their beneficiaries will, for that matter. And then premium mode, how often they're paying their premiums. They're going to pay monthly, EFT, so they don't have to worry about writing checks or anything. And then the premium amount is going to be $500 a month. That's going to be $6,000 a year. Our MEC premium is $7,000. And the target premium, which is the number that you would get paid based off of, is $1,700. So, that's the number that you guys are going to kind of care about, but always do what's right by your client. And just know that the cash value maximization IUL is obviously going to have a lower amount of insurance. So you're typically going to not make as much on it, but you'll have a happy client who's going to tell everyone and their mom about you. So you'll get paid several times, not just once. And it's very much worth your time to do what's in the best interest of your client, because again, you'll have happy clients and you'll be suitable and have great recommendations. So here we go to the illustration. Obviously, year one, age 45, they're doing $6,000 a year. They're really able to build up that accumulation value pretty quick. Early on, they'll have a high or rather very low surrender value, but that death benefit's already increasing after year one with the accumulated value on top of the day one death benefit. Now you get to year 10, they put $60,000 in there. They're able to pull tax-free $68,000. As you can tell, the break-even point is right about 10 years for that surrender value. So that's truly how much they'll be able to pull. And now that death benefit's growing even more. Whoops. That death benefit's growing even more to $170,000. But guys, what's really cool is when we get to age 65, again, 20 years of paying $6,000 a year. So it's that is $120,000. They have almost twice as much money that they can use and pull from tax-free. And they can use this for real estate investments. They can use it for additional retirement income. Whatever they need the money for, guys, they can borrow from it and don't have to, have any explanation for it. They can go buy shoes and clothes if they want, even though that's not a suitable recommendation that we would recommend. And then obviously if something were to happen to them, they would have $320,000 left to their family, completely tax-free. So this is a really simple illustration, and going through this, your client's going to understand completely, how exactly this thing is going to work for them. But sometimes I do like to run a report That way they just see the additional benefits. And while this loads up here, guys, it's taking a little while. Okay, here we go. So this is the illustration. That's far more in depth. That was just a quick view. Obviously, it's going to have their name. It's going to feel good whenever they see their name on there. It's very customizable. Feels like it's very specific to them because it is. Has all your information on there. And then, it tells you, hey, this is how much you're paying in your policy, $500 monthly. If you die tomorrow, you get that amount, which was on the illustration. Also kind of shows them like, hey, if you need cash, here's how much that you can have. And as you can see, as they get older, it's going to grow in the market, or not in the market, but with market appreciation because it's tied to an index. So that money's going to grow if they don't use it. But what's really nice is that if they become ill, they can access a portion of their death benefit. So that's very important. At age 65, terminal illness, they get $280,000. Chronic illness, 255, critical illness, so on and so forth. So this doubles down as a long-term care policy. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1. You not only get the death benefit and the traditional aspects of life insurance, but you get the cash value aspect, and you also kind of get some long-term care features that really help, preserve somebody's wealth and their financial plan. So make sure that you go here, look at all the qualifying diseases and illnesses that can pop up to where they can kind of get that long-term care benefit and all the benefit there. Income tax free, borrow, withdrawal, all that good stuff, and then the tax free death benefit as well. Obviously, NLG is an A+ rated company. They're as good as it gets when it comes to insurance companies. They've been around seriously forever, since 1848. I mean, so if that doesn't have a great track record, I don't know what does. They've been here for over 250 years. So they're obviously very good in the company, very good company, and very great in the industry. This is a really nice illustration, cumulative premium paid, and they have this much of cash surrender to borrow from and this much death benefit. And even at age 79, that's a pretty powerful, illustration for them to see. And it's going to make a lot of sense for your client, just the various amount of benefits that they can get from an overfunded IUL policy. Make sure that you guys go through all this. Whatever investment strategy and indexing strategy that you choose is going to be very important, guys. Always look over that has the best, returns historically, because, that's the best way that we can kind of gauge the future, even though historical performance is not indicative of future results. It at least gives us a good idea of what's performed better the past 5, 10, 15, and 20-year averages. Obviously, the thing that looks the best is a U.S. pace setter point-to-point no cap with a 245% par. So you show that to your client, they start, thinking that they can get 14, 13, 11, and 9% returns. Just say, hey, I can't guarantee future results or anything like that, but obviously based off the historical returns, this is, some potential that we could have inside of your indexing strategy. This is probably what you're going to end up choosing more often than not. So, but if you want to diversify, if they want to diversify across the S&P 500, all that good stuff. But those are going to have caps, just so you know. This has no cap. The balance trend has no cap as well, and so has pretty good returns. So use some due diligence there, guys. Make sure you look through this. Make sure you understand, the qualifying illnesses and diseases for that long-term care aspect with the critical illness, terminal illness, so on and so forth. And then make sure that you're selecting the appropriate indexing strategy. So, excuse me. Make sure you guys run the reports, all that good stuff. We're going to go ahead and cancel out of this. You can save that to your computer as a PDF. And then I would recommend, guys, save as. Click save right here. Make sure that, everything's accurate and complete before saving, because you're going to want to refer to this. I already have an example saved, so I'm not too worried about it. But you guys need to save for each and every client. Kind of help your CRM as well. Now that's great. We finished that up. We're going to go to the eApp iGo application. It's going to take you to this page. And I recommend doing this all with the client on a Zoom call. Start a new case information. We're going to do valued client. The birthday, this is why you want to have that up. but it's, for the example, I know it's 211, and then however age 45 is, that's 1980. So know that age 45, gender, the illustration we did was male. Females have cheaper insurance because males tend to be a little bit crazier and die sooner, believe it or not. But case description, let's just say IUL, valued client, 500, month, whatever you need to do for case description. Solicitation state, I'm in Texas. This proposed client is in Texas. Make sure you have your states correct. Product type, we're going to index universal life, find available products. We did the second one, remember, 2019 Flex Life NL. We're going to select right here. And that's just the case information. Now we go to the app. Full e-application. Do any of these conditions apply? Make sure you read them. Typically, it's going to be not, no, they don't. Those are that's a pretty wild situation if that's the case. But no, will this application be completed in person with each insured? I always say yes, because if you have them virtually, that still counts. How long have you known them? Maybe they're a new client, less than 1 year. Guys, it's better to have more information than not. Okay, I can't type all that. Just say less than 1 year. Do it on year terms. No, we're not related. No, they're not a employee, most likely, of National Life Group. Otherwise, they wouldn't need an IUL. They probably already have one. What's the purpose of this business? Personal. We're going to do, estate planning protection, and I kind of always do too. You can even do other cash value growth. More information, the better, guys. Just makes sense. How much the face amount to be determined. The illustration I ran was 102 and some change. I would go back and put that exact number, but we're going to do $102,000 just for example. So make sure that you have, make sure you have that app, that illustration up and present so that you have all the accurate informations. This is just an estimated number because I know it was like 102,000, I think like $200 or something like that. We'll go to next. Find out if they do or don't already have existing life or annuity contracts. For this example, we're going to say no. We're not replacing. If you're replacing, that's a whole different situation. Just make sure that you guys talk to an E.H. Howard representative. But we did show them illustration. Are there companion policies? No, there's not. To your knowledge, proposers receiving any? No, they're not. They're not receiving any kickbacks, any other benefits from this. And they're not doing a viatical settlement where they sell this life insurance policy to another group. So always going to want to probably do no's on those for the most part. Very rare if you run into those situations. Agent number, put your agent number in. That's mine. I don't have a suffix. Phone number, mine already pops up. Percentage of total compensation, do 100% because you're not splitting or anything like that. Are there additional agents? No. If you are riding with another agent, obviously you do like 50-50 or whatever you guys agree upon. Next. And this just goes to show how fast we can kind of run through this. This stuff is going to automatically fill in. Social Security number, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's their social. Okay, it's going to tell you to do a valid one, so do a valid one. I guess I could make up something. That's one of y'all's socials, and I'm sorry. USA, birth state. Let's just keep everything simple, keep it easy. We're going to do Texas. Yes, they are. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but typically that's going to be no. more than 4 months outside the U.S. in a foreign country. If they're not military, then most likely that's not the case. We'll put my height here, hashtag slight flex, and then 250. So guys, don't judge me. I know I'm running more. No, they're not part of the military organization. Important to find out if they are. They're employed, employer name, they work at Walmart, time employed. They've been an outstanding employee for them for a long time. I don't know where the food. Okay, food and drink. We'll go with that. Manager. They're a dog at Walmart. And then make sure, like I said, guys, do this with the client. Make sure the client's on the Zoom call. One, it shows them, that you're legit, that you're submitting the application for them. I don't know how many numbers it is. Let's just guess here. Otherwise, I'll pull mine up just so it looks good. Does not like this number format. Anyways, you guys get the gist. 1, 2, 3. I'm in San Angelo. We'll go with that. Automatically fills in. Best number to call. Always do mobile because everyone uses their cell phone these days. We'll do my phone number. Oh, okay. How about that? That's my regular email. Guys, I don't check that, so don't think that if you email that number, I'm going to check it. Is mailing address different than residential? No. Yes, the primary is going to be the owner. That's not always the case. Obviously, if the primary insured is the child and the owner is going to be the parent, you need to put that in there. So that would be the time that it would be no, but typically the primary insured will most likely be the owner. There's not going to be a joint owner. Annual income, let's just do the average person, 100,000, 500,000 net worth. Household income, add the spouse in there, make it 175. That'd be nice too. And do, 750. There we go. I don't know if it'll let me because of the driver's license number, but we'll see. There we go. Click here to add a primary beneficiary. Let's just do the wife, the spouse. In this situation, be the wife. Wife. Valued. Let's say sample because it would be like it's the same person. Client. Social is not needed. Let's just say 01 10 1990. Got himself a young wife. She's got 100%. We don't have to do this, but obviously if it's the wife, you can do that. Save. Now that's the primary beneficiary. If you want to do a contingent beneficiary like the kids, if that's, the client's going to be on the phone with you or on the Zoom call with you, they're more than likely going to do that. So if that's the case, you click yes. But if not, they're like, hey, it's my wife or nothing. We're going to go no. We'll move down the line here. Face amount, again, guys, have that illustration up to refer to. But just know that I'm using that rough number. I know it's 102,000, a little bit more, but we did choose increasing and we did GPT. But always make sure that you have that on there. We didn't do the death benefit protection rider, but you don't really necessarily need that. It's no separate charge. I guess it doesn't hurt. You can do it anyways, but make sure that you know the riders that you add on to it. But typically we don't really have any riders associated with it because the long-term care, the accelerated benefits, which is that long-term care, is already added in, and then the accumulated value enhancement riders already added in. So most of that stuff's already good. We quoted at standard non-tobacco. standard NT, no fluid because it's going to be accelerated. Obviously, in the event that they check that MIB report and they say, yeah, something came up, they need a local service. Please advise if a translator is going to be needed. Unless they are fluent in a different language, you probably don't need to do that. And then you want to get that illustration signed, very important, and get that unique illustration ID, because once you get it signed and all that good stuff, and you can even say no. I mean, the client's going to know. Oh, well, I said we used an illustration earlier, so you would do that illustration unique ID, and then you can attach it as well. Let's just use random numbers. Hopefully that lets us do it. Yeah, okay, great. We're going next. Billing type, EFT, payment frequency. We're doing monthly, and obviously you'll need to collect that bank account information later. At least that helps the client understand and get ready for it. But we're doing $500 a month. The sources of, where they're getting their premium payments is typically going to be income and savings, especially if they're working. Even if they're not, they'll still be savings or investments. Do you have in-force life insurance and annuity contracts? Let's just say no. If it says yes, it'll ask if you're replacing. We're not using funds from another life insurance or annuity contract, and we're not replacing. So this is the quickest way to get through this, and it's the best. And obviously you have the client on there. We're going to do Dr. Do. I got to have a capital D there. That's going to bother me. Okay, Doolittle. Street address. This probably will auto-populate. There you go. So make sure that you have that information there. I know it's mad at me over here. So it tells you if you miss anything, guys. Very important to do that. Let me just grab my driver's license number so that we can move on with everything. Okay. I'm going to do my driver's license number minus a few numbers so you guys don't get me in trouble. All right. Boom. Now we're good. Okay, great. Now we can go back to validate and lock data. Should be, okay, confirm identity. Yep, confirm. All right. Yes, that looks good. Yes, that looks good. Yes, that looks good. Yes, that looks good. Confirm. So at least you know that the client's identity is safe, all that good stuff. I test that it's all good. And then you click lock that application and proceed to the signature process. And then all the bank account information and whatnot will be from there. And just making sure that it gets properly applied for and that the clients can pay for it at that time. But now that you've been through the application process, you know how simple, how quick, and how fast it goes. And then you can get the EFT form signed once you kind of get an idea if that application's good and in good standing. So, guys, that's the gist of it. Understanding that you're going to be able to fly through this stuff. I mean, this application that we did was super quick. And whenever you have the client on there, and they're able to answer all that information. As you can tell, it doesn't go into tremendous depth. But, obviously they need their social and their driver's license. They need to have some kind of rough idea what their income levels are, what their annual, income, annual salary, net worth is. So that's the general information. What would make this really long is if they do already have life insurance contracts and they're thinking about, replacing it, which is very rarely the case. So just have some of that information before, if you can gather that in the fact-finding call, which you should do, because that's just prudent to do and help your client. But as you can tell, guys, with the illustration and with the application, this is a 20-minute Zoom call with your client, and it's a quick, easy process. They do all of this stuff. And they can e-sign it right here. You can lock the application, proceed to signature process, keep them on the Zoom call, have them sign it, and then get this stuff sent in. and just say, hey, let's just apply for it and see what happens. Obviously, I haven't taken your bank account information yet. We'll finish all that once we get back with what your table rating is. So very important, guys. This is just shows how fast you can kind of get an IUL set up for somebody. Hope this helps, guys. Please do not hesitate to reach out to a representative or your upline or whoever you're dealing with who's a mentor to help you go through this. But hopefully this training video helps, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next time.